Black Friday is here. It's time for drop number 3 from AppSumo. Today's tools are all about how to grow your audience. My name is Dave, and I am covering every single deal that AppSumo releases this Black Friday. Whether or not I get to sleep this week, that is yet to be decided. But there are 6 tools. I'm going to run through them quick here, and then we'll dig in a little bit deeper as we go. HeySummit is up first. This is a tool to host your own virtual events. We've also got Pushlap Growth. It's a mouthful, but it's a way to create your own affiliate program. You can have an army of affiliates selling your products and services. This is a really cool tool. If you've not tried this one before, I'll be looking at it in this video, but I also have a full-length video on Pushlap Growth coming out a little bit later. Up next, we have Press Ranger. This is a tool so that you can get some eyeballs on your business. It'll help you find journalists, it'll help you find podcasts, help you do the outreach and follow up with them to try to get eyeballs on your business. Tell your story and use that as your marketing rather than giving Mark Zuckerberg your credit card and letting him run wild. Next up is Trafft. This is a tool to book appointments. Now you might think, well, I've got Calendly, it's free, that's fine. Or I use TidyCal, isn't that enough? No, Trafft is really best suited to in-person or physical type meetings where you've got a location you want people to attend. Think salons, music lessons, maybe gym classes, group training, things like that. Trafft really excels at this, and we'll look at that a little bit later on. And then finally, we've got 2 tools that are quite similar. Kind of interesting that they're both here. We've got Encharge as well as Acumba Mail. Now, Acumba Mail, I've made a full-length video on this. I think it was almost 40 minutes long. So if I give you a little teaser here and you want to know more, definitely go check that out. It's a pretty thorough lesson on how to actually use this tool. But in this video, I'm going to focus mainly on what are the differences between these tools, which one should you get? One thing that might decide for you is that Acumba Mail is only available to AppSumo Plus members. So keep that in mind. If you're not a Plus member, you probably should consider doing it. You'll get 10% off of everything you buy at AppSumo. If you're spending a lot this Black Friday, that could pay for the price of Plus right there. And you've still got a full calendar year to save an additional 10%. But hey, let's not beat around the bush. Let's get right into things. There's a lot to cover. Let's start off by talking about HeySummit and creating our own virtual events. So here's the setup screen for HeySummit. I'm going to go ahead and create a one-off workshop, otherwise known as a webinar. The other types of events I can host on HeySummit are going to include single-day events, which essentially just have multiple speakers throughout the day. We can also have multi-day events that have multiple speakers and even can have multiple tracks where people choose a particular track to learn about a certain subject. There are ongoing series like a monthly or weekly visit, an on-demand video library, or even video courses. So HeySummit, which got its start on AppSumo, I would say maybe 6 years ago, they've really expanded their offerings as the live event marketplace has exploded and then come down to earth a little bit. There's a lot of other features here like video courses, or if I choose a one-off workshop, we're going to see there's an in-person component option. So you could do part of it online and part of it in person. Now, I've already filled all of this out, but basically you just give your event a name, say what company is putting it on, and then you can go ahead and add your speakers. So here I am on the main dashboard. You can see my webinar is coming up. This is a one-off event. I can manage the event right here. And then on the content tab, I can go ahead and add in my speakers. Each speaker will have a section where you can enter in their name and contact information, as well as a bio with social media links, and even a media section where you can add in some promotional photos, their URL, and have an introduction video if you want to kind of pre-sell people on the sales page. Now, I didn't do a very good job of filling out my profile here, but I wanted to show you that each speaker will have its own page on your event. So you can edit this page, change the colors, add more information, but it's a really nice layout, just quick way to link over to the speakers at your event. It makes it a lot more enticing for people to sign up. You can sell tickets too, by the way. Did I mention that? There's actually a few ways to generate revenue from your live events, and tickets is going to be the most straightforward way. So under revenue, add tickets, and you can create multiple types of tickets. So they give the example of a VIP pass here, and you could set a limited quantity available and even restrict it to certain attendees or a time frame. Let's say the VIP passes are only on sale the very first weekend, and you could make it much more exclusive. I think HeySummit does a really great job of helping event creators to monetize advertise their events. There's a lot of marketing features built in, so if you want to utilize them to maximize your earning potential, you certainly can do so, but it's not over the top. You're not going to feel sleazy for the way it sells for you. So we can do add-ons, donations, take coupons, and there's even the ability to sell advertising. In the content tab, there is a sponsor option over here where you could sell sponsorships, give people the opportunity to speak to your attendees in more of an advertising type of way. All right, let's talk content. We've talked about adding speakers so that people are enticed to buy tickets. We've talked about how you can actually sell tickets, but what we have not done is talked about what content people will actually be receiving. And that is in the form of workshops. They also call this talks, and they use that interchangeably, which could honestly be a little confusing as you're getting used to this platform. There's a lot here. If you haven't noticed, there's a ton of features inside of HeySummit. If anything, it's just going to feel like there's too many options rather than not enough. But I'm adding a new workshop in here. I just click that button to add a workshop, and then it says at the top, add a talk. Now, my choices for the type of talk I can add are a live webinar or meeting, a live stream, or pre-recorded. If you are doing a pre-recorded event, well, you can bring in your videos from any number of reputable platforms like Wistia, Vimeo, YouTube. Those are the big ones, but you can see all of them here on the screen. There's a lot of options, and if you don't see the one you want, you can even just use the embed code. A lot of these are old AppSumo deals like Dub, Spotlighter, Hippo Video, Gumlet, Wave, maybe some others, but yeah, there's a lot of options out there for video hosting these days. All right, so let's say you got your speakers all signed up, your content is loaded in, you've got everything scheduled, your tickets are available. How do you go about selling things? Well, there's a bunch of embeddable media to help you promote things. So you've got little widgets to show upcoming talks, upcoming events, or if you don't have a website at all to embed stuff on, they even create a little microsite for you here where people can go ahead and just buy tickets right there. You don't need anything else. So that's HeySummit, a very mature platform to help you make more money with your online events. One thing that comes to mind with a platform like HeySummit is doing online instruction. Let's say you're a music teacher or a dance teacher or even a fitness trainer, and you are selling one-on-one lessons via Zoom. That can be great, and you might not want to go the opposite end of things where you're just selling like a course because it doesn't feel personal enough. Well, with something like HeySummit, you could, instead of selling one-on-one lesson, sell a 1-on-30 lesson, and then everybody pays a similar amount, and you could literally 30x your income just by switching to an online event versus a private lesson. Definitely something to consider. Next up, we're talking affiliate programs with Pushlap growth. I'm sure you've watched YouTube before. You've heard people like me say the link is in the description. It is, by the way. If you want to support my content, the link is in the description. That is an affiliate link that if you click on it, I will eventually, and purchase something at AppSumo in the next 7 days, I will earn a commission on that sale. It doesn't cost you, the customer, anything extra, but it encourages me to promote AppSumo products and services. Now, it just happens that I love AppSumo products and services, so it comes natural. Well, don't you want an army of people like me promoting your things? Give them a little incentive by giving them an affiliate link, and you can do so with Pushlap growth. Now, I've got an affiliate program set up here, and I'm going to go through this entire platform in detail in a dedicated video, but let me give you the high-level overview. Essentially, when you set up an affiliate program, there's quite a few things to consider. First of all, you want to think about it from the point of view of the affiliate. What is their experience going to be like? So they'll probably have to visit a portal to get signed up. The portal is going to look something like this, where they'll enter in their information. It says, welcome to the affiliate program. You can sign up. Here's going to be the commission. Enter in where you'd like to get paid, whether it's Wise or PayPal. You get the point. And then they're also going to get a tracking link. The tracking link is going to look something like this, and then they can enter in their name or their brand, whatever they want to kind of complete the picture. So this system has to be very smooth and complete because sometimes affiliates are not technical people. They might be experts in other areas, but they don't know anything about this link sharing business. So you got to make it super, super clear and easy for them. And I feel like Pushlap Growth does a great job of that. Now, for me as a business owner, if I've got affiliates, I want to be able to control how much I am paying them. I want to make sure that no one's cheating the system and just using it as a personal discount system. There's a lot to consider, a lot of things that, business owners can be a little paranoid. You want to make sure that everything is going smoothly. And I think that Pushlap Growth does a great job of this. Now, the first thing you'll do when you set up your affiliate system is to integrate it with your existing website. So to show you what that looks like, we're going to go to settings and then integrations, and I'll literally just pick one of these that makes the most sense. So if I'm on WooCommerce, I would choose that integration. Or if I'm using Paddle, I'd want to use that. There's Stripe payments, there is Shopify, even Pickaxe and old AppSumo LTD is supported. Now, when I set up my integration, this is going to put a tracking code on my entire website so that when someone shares that affiliate link, it's going to credit that specific affiliate back. So there's no way someone would get credit without using that link unless you used a coupon code, which is also supported. I'm going to show you that, but I just want to mention that if you don't see any platforms here that will work for you, what system are you using? Because it's pretty complete, but also they do have JavaScript support. So if you're just doing leads through forms or something like that, you definitely will still be able to utilize this system. In fact, they even have a universal forms integration. I've never seen this before, but it'll track referrals using only forms for your website. That's really cool. Okay, so how do you know how much people are going to get paid? That's going to be based on a commission tier. Right now, I've got a default tier. It's set to 15% for an undefined amount of months, so basically forever on all payments. Now, I can go ahead and refine this to be as specific as I want. I can make it a flat rate, so rather than a percentage, it might just be $50 for every referral or whatever makes the most sense. I can also have a specific number of payments, like the first payment that you make, the first purchase, the first 6 purchases that you make. Or I can constrain things based on a certain period of time after someone signs up using your link. So you'll get payments for the first 12 months as an example. Maybe you set it to be forever. Maybe you set it to be 6 months. Maybe you set it to go as much as, I think the highest they support is 19 months, which is a random number, but that's what they chose. By the way, you can set it to work on specific products only. If you integrate with one of the supported platforms like Shopify or WooCommerce, it's going to pull in your products right here. And then you can say it's only going to apply to maybe a certain item that you're trying to get people to promote. Definitely doable. You remember this affiliate portal, right? Well, I can customize this quite a bit. Let me show you. Inside of settings, affiliate portal, I can upload my logo. You saw my picture on that landing page, but there's a lot of granularity here. I can add different logos for different parts of the site, and then I can specify my own colors. So I've got brand colors here, a background color. I can choose a gradient, upload a background image, and then set colors for text as well as buttons. A nice little touch, they even give you some social media graphics here that you can use to promote your affiliate program. And you can absolutely add your own domain so your affiliate portal lives on affiliates.yourdomain.com or whatever it is that you desire. Sending of emails can also be customized with your own domain, so everything is on brand and has a better chance of hitting the inbox. In the assets section, you can add marketing assets so your affiliates know how to promote your brand. Just click on add asset here. You can do general, banner, color scheme, accordions, links, or videos. So the idea would be, here is our color scheme. Use these colors when promoting our brand, and then you can even add in specific colors. I'm a big fan of affiliate programs that are very exclusive, so they don't let in the masses, but also pay their affiliates really well. That way you can control things, keep them on brand, not embarrass your brand by putting out content you don't support, but you also have some good exposure because hopefully they are a compelling case and already have an existing audience you'd like to reach. I mentioned before, but coupons are definitely an option over tracking links. So just go ahead and set up your coupons. If you're using a platform like Stripe, Shopify, or WooCommerce, it will actually integrate directly with your existing coupons. Of course, you'll be able to track all of your affiliates as well as all of your sales right inside of your dashboard, and then even create a payout directly inside of the tool. For payouts, you can choose Wise, PayPal, bank account, or platform credits. Platform credits would be like you're giving them credits at your shop. So many options to go over here. I'm gonna wrap things up right here, but definitely get subscribed to the channel to see the full length video if this is of interest to you. Next up, I'm going to show you how to get access to over 2 million journalists and publishers and even podcasters with Press Ranger. I've got my account opened here. It's a very flexible tool. There's a lot of different ways you could utilize it. I'm going to give you some ideas. First of all, they've got this media database where they filter out different types of media. So we've got journalists, podcasts. I'm going to go into the podcast. Let's say I wanted to get on a podcast. First, I just see a directory, a huge directory of all of the podcasts, basically. Let's say I wanted to get on Joe Rogan. I could click in and see Joe Rogan's profile here, even send an email. They've got Jamie's email right here with a Gmail address. Joe, you think you could pony up for Google Workspace? Obviously, I'm not going to get on a podcast this large, and probably you aren't either unless you have an absolutely extraordinary story and you hang out with aliens or something. But there might be a podcast out there that's the perfect fit for you, your message, whatever it is you're selling or offering the world. So let's start to filter things a little bit. Now, this would work the same if we went into journalists or publishers as well, but you could choose the country. Let's say you want to appear in person. You choose the country you live in. I'm in the United States of America. We can search for certain keywords or just search by category. So I want to find entrepreneurship podcasts, and I don't want 4-star podcasts. Those are going to be the really popular ones, but maybe 3-star and probably 2-star podcasts would be an okay fit. I can also choose podcasts that have guests and are actively recording. There's an option for have valid email, but that might not be as important to me. I might not want to miss out on something. I can probably reach out and find a way to contact these people. And now I've got a list of podcasts that could potentially be a good fit for me. Now, let's say I think this one is. I don't know anything about it. Wake Up to Wealth. It could be a great podcast, but I haven't heard of it. But let's say I wanted to reach out to them. There's a few things I can do. First of all, I can add them to a contact list. So I'll just click right here, and I've already got a contact list created called LTD Podcast, but I'm just going to add them to my sample list for now. Next, I could set a status like I'm researching this podcast. Like I said, I don't know a lot about it, but it might be a good fit. So I want to remember it. I'm going to save it. I'll show you how to access those in a minute. If I got further along and I actually wanted to just do outreach, or maybe I knew this podcast and I'm like, I don't want to wait, I need to contact these guys. Well, I can choose send email, and then I can either have a template with some placeholders that fill in automatically based on my information, based on the podcast information, and just click on the template. It'll send it right out to me, or I can choose a blank email and write one right there from scratch. I'll show you more about the email templates in a moment. So that's using the media database to do some manual research, but you really don't have to do it that way if it seems tedious. To me, it actually sounds like a little bit of fun. If I actually wanted to do some promotion, I wouldn't mind digging around a little bit. However, when you sign up for the platform, you enter in information about your company, and then they start to surface journalists or publishers that might be a good fit for you. So here is the company that I work for. We've got all of our information listed here, and then they refer us to some potential journalists or publishers that we might want to check out. Now, you remember when I assigned that podcast the status of researching? Well, under press relationships, or you can go up to CRM in the main menu, it's the same option. I get a Kanban system where I can see the different podcasts or whatever publishers I've been researching. For me, it's just podcasts. I can go ahead and see a Kanban of what I am looking up. So I decided to pass on Russell Brunson, and these 4 I'm currently researching. After I send out an email, maybe I move it over to reach out. That way I can keep track of all of my submissions. I mentioned contact lists a little bit ago, and those live right over here. I have my sample contact list. If we view this, we should see that podcast show up right here. So it's just a great way to keep things organized. One additional way, I suppose, if you don't prefer the CRM method, you can kind of keep things organized this way. Now, everyone that's in a list, you can actually export. There is a limit on how many exports you get. That depends on the tier you buy at AppSumo. So you can see right here on tier 1, we get 0 exports, but if you go up to tier 2, you get 2,000 a month, and that scales with however many codes you purchase. Well, I guess it maxes out at 10,000 exports, but you get a lot. What you do get is more companies that you can add. So if you're doing this as a service, you want to help companies get press, well, you can add in more and more clients that way. If that is your goal, you might want to stack 10 codes, because then you get company-specific permissions and custom domain media rooms where you can really offer this as a true service. Let's jump over to those mail templates I was talking about earlier. So I can add a new mail template here. You can see it looks just like a regular email, but I can use these variables to customize my emails, make them more personal. And that way, when I'm looking at profiles, it's very easy to just send off a message right from their platform. The last feature I want to talk about is press releases. They can generate press releases for you using AI. So just click right up here where it says create press release, enter in the type of press release you want to create, and then the news that you're announcing, and AI can create the whole thing. I already did one here. It's Client AMP announces the return of that LTD life for a new season. You get the idea for what type of press release I'm going for here. You can read through it, edit it as you need. There are some links if you want to share it directly from Press Ranger. And if you don't mind spending a little bit of extra money, you can get your press release in over 300 outlets using their wholesale press release distribution. Now there's a few different options for this. It starts at 400, actually at the high end is $400. That gives you up to 500 outlets. And if you go down to $299, you'll get 400 outlets. Now you should know that they're not just offering to distribute this and hope you get some results. They are guaranteeing placements. So we can click over, you'll see you'll be distributed on Apple News, on Fox and NBC affiliates, Associated Press. They're all going to pick up your press release. There's other options here too for podcasters and LLMs. So yeah, a really interesting option here. If you're willing to spend a little bit of money, it's not going to compare to a full-blown Meta ads campaign, but you're still going to be seen by a lot of eyeballs, and you'll be out there on the internet on third-party authority platforms. So there's definitely an SEO element here as well. So that is Press Ranger. If you want to check it out, I've got my link down below. Next up, let's check out Trafft for scheduling appointments. Now, of course, I'm going to show you the back end and how everything gets set up, but I'm going to show you the customer experience here as well, because that's obviously very important if you're trying to schedule paid appointments. This is for my make-believe gym, Dave's Group Fitness. Let's say I wanted to take this virtual functional class or maybe an in-person cardio boxing class. Well, I can book the appointment right here. Now, I can see some information about the class here. You can add in more detail if you want. I don't have a description for this class, but I do have an upsell if I wanted to add in some boxing gloves. Man, this is a cheap class, 15 bucks for a class and boxing gloves. Sign me up. We've got the location. Now, I don't have an employee or how many people are taking the class yet because I got to continue to the next step. Here, I can see the different teachers that are teaching the class. I'm going to go ahead and sign up for a class with Amy at 10 o'clock. Let's see, it's just going to be me, and we'll go ahead and continue. Then obviously we do the whole sign up with first name, last name, email address, and phone number should you choose to make it required. Now, I have not set up payments on this website, but of course you can link it up to Stripe or PayPal. We'll look at those integrations in a moment, and you can see my total here is 15 bucks. I'm going to go ahead and book the class and easily add this to my calendar. By the way, now that I'm done booking my class, all of my booking details are filled up and I can see all of the relevant information for the class I'm taking. So what does that look like on the back end? Well, here is my dashboard. Obviously, this is just a demo site. It's not real, but I can see my last booked appointments. I can see how many new customers versus returning customers. Some really nice analytics here on the dashboard. But really, if you're trying to get going, the first thing you'll want to do is add in your employees. These are going to be your teachers. So you can take a look at what a profile looks like here. You can add in your employee information, their first name, last name, phone number, their location, time zone, give a little bio, set up which services they offer, set their working hours, any days off or special days that they might need. And then over in the services section, that's where you'll add in all of those appointments. So right now I've just got one category of all services, but I could start to categorize them if I wanted to. I could do weight training and cardio and CrossFit or whatever. I guess you're not allowed to say that unless you're an actual CrossFit authorized. We're not going to get into that. You get the idea here. You could start to organize your products or services as well as resources. Now, this would be things like equipment, rooms, or other items that are not unlimited. So you could set up your resources, and then when you book a class, you can reserve resources so that things don't get double booked. You can see how this is a lot more flexible than something like Calendly or TidyCal, specifically for those in-person events. By the way, I'm in the finance section right now to show you those integrations with PayPal, Stripe. They also support Molly as well as Authorize.net and Square, but I should mention that you can set up your locations as well. That's right here. So if you are a multi-location business and you want to give people the opportunity to go to different locations for their appointments, you could easily add in multiple appointments right here. Now, I've been focused on the in-person meetings, but of course we can do things virtually as well. There's Zoom integrations, Google Teams, as well as Google Meet. We can add in coupons, have our own custom domain, a lot of great integrations here so that you really can make this thing sing for your business. The appearance is somewhat customizable. They do allow custom CSS and JS. If you want to write your own CSS, you can definitely do that. But otherwise, choose one of the existing themes. You can customize the hero section, the footer, the services page, and the employee page also. I know that custom fields are very important for a lot of service-based businesses, so I'll mention that there are separate custom fields for customers as well as appointments, so you can gather whatever information you need to be prepared to provide the service necessary. So that is Trafft. I think this is an excellent tool, and I have some experience here. I ran a music lesson business for around 10 years. Yeah, it was about that long, and we paid Mindbody tens of thousands of dollars over that time, Mindbody being one of the largest online booking solutions. Nothing like Trafft existed, and if I could pay a one-time payment, I would have definitely enjoyed using this tool more. It would have been better fit for the business and would have saved a boatload of cash. So go ahead and give this one a look. I know it's very particular to what your business needs are. I went through a lot of tools during that period of time trying to find the right one, and Mindbody wasn't the one I liked the most, but it just had the right set of features. So check out Trafft. It might save you a ton of cash. Okay, two tools left in this drop, Encharge and Acumba Mail. Both are email marketing tools, but have very different use cases in my opinion. So Acumba Mail, remember this is plus only, so that could eliminate some people interested in it. Acumba Mail is a lot more like ConvertKit, I would say. It's not quite as technical, quite as detailed. Now you can still do quite a bit here. It's got autoresponders, as you can see in the little thumbnail, landing pages, autoresponders, and newsletters. But you know what? So can Encharge. But Encharge does things at a much more technical level while still making things accessible. Let me explain what I mean. Here is an Encharge automation. This is one of their templates. It's a beautiful system for building out automation. So this is an automated Stripe sign-up flow. So if you have a SaaS product and people are they're trying out your tool, they're doing a trial, you can send them an email. Then when the trial ends, you can check a condition, see if it's still active, and then send them another email before the trial actually ends. Then after their subscription has been activated, you can send them a welcome email, and then you can tag the customer and send a Slack notification. And then if the subscription is canceled, you can ask them for some feedback. Now you can see just how beautiful this layout is. It's an infinite canvas. We've got these little notes here. I can move this around and actually go into each individual email and start to customize it. Here are all of the emails in this flow. I can see the analytics for them. And this is what the email builder looks like. Now, this is just a plain text email, but there's no reason I couldn't add in an image or a button or even a video. As soon as I drop my video in, it adds the thumbnail. We can even add a play button and modify this to suit our tastes. If things are too squished together, you can always go ahead and add in some padding. It's a lot more like a website page builder. Encharge integrates with all of these apps right here, but honestly, what I find most exciting is that they do site tracking. This is something that you get more on the higher end CRMs that can follow your visitors around and start to gather information about them. Now, you have to make sure that you obey laws, right? GDPR. Site tracking is more sensitive these days than it was back when I started on the web, but it's still something you can do legally if you take the right precautions and get permission. So that was all Encharge. Now let's contrast that with Acumba Mail, which I think is a little bit more beautiful to use, but not quite as powerful. So for example, if I wanted to send off a campaign, I'll choose New Campaign. I could do a newsletter here or an autoresponder. It can even connect up to your website and pull in your RSS feed to generate new emails, but we'll stick to the basics and choose Newsletter. Now I'm just gonna choose who I want to send to. I'll choose my test list. And then we get to their templates. And I think this is where the product really shines. They've got some beautiful templates. They use Be-Free as their builder. So it's really easy to make things look great. By the way, this isn't all of them. They have 872 templates. So let's show a little more at once, shall we? All right, here are all of the templates. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick one. Let's go with this Black Friday one right here. We'll use the template. I'll give it a name. I'll call it test 1, 2, 3. and hit continue. So here's the Be Free builder, which is very beautiful, extremely easy to use, not so dissimilar from the Encharge builder. I just think it's, we're getting this huge collection of templates, which makes it great to start from, but it's also a better user experience from the builder point of view. It's just so simple. So Encharge definitely wins from the automation point of view, whereas Acumba Mail, if you're just trying to send off like newsletters or e-commerce messages that are more like blasts, very, very easy to do so. Acumba Mail does have automations too, and I go into this in my full-length review. We can check out what the automations look like. They're not nearly as detailed, but it's very simple as well. So if you kind of want something that's just cut and dry, like triggers and template, wait 2 days, send another message. If they open, send another message. If they don't, send the same message again. You get the point. It's very, very easy to go ahead and build out those types of flows. But to have deeper integrations with a processor like Stripe, the one I showed you, well, that's where Encharge really pulls ahead. Yes, Acumba Mail can do landing pages and even surveys, but I wouldn't buy this tool because it does that. I'd still build my website on an actual website platform, and I'd run surveys on a survey platform if I'm being honest as well. If you find yourself using these extra features, great, but I really would focus in on email marketing. What do I want to accomplish? Which platform looks like it's going to be best suited for my business? Is it going to be more technical like Encharge, or do I want to have easy to use templates because I really care about the aesthetics of my email? By the way, that doesn't always equal higher revenue. It's just having prettier looking emails. So definitely have some internal thinking to do about what's best for your business. One thing that's critical for both services is deliverability, so make sure you go ahead and follow all of the steps to properly authenticate your domain, get verified as a sender. That'll give you the best chance of hitting the inbox, but also pay attention to the content you're sending and just slowly warm up your audience. Don't jump into one of these senders and start blasting thousands of messages the first day. Start with a few hundred and then double it every couple days so that you can slowly build up some credibility with this new sender. All right, so that's Encharge and Acumba Mail. We have covered everything for this drop. Make sure you hit me up in the comments if you have any additional questions. As always, my links are in the description. I've also got a website. If you want to check out the written version of this, I post blog posts for most of my videos. You can check that out as well. It's a little bit easier to zip around and search for things if you need it. My name is Dave. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow for drop number 4.